What is going on, my Epitastic Nation? Welcome back to the channel. This is EpicJoshua, aka Joshua Drake Randall here. I talk movies, TV on a few occasions, music, and anime film. So, this is going to be for yet another 2026 release. That, my dear guys, is going to be for the latest horror film, Obsession. No, not Obsessed. That's the Beyonce one. There you go. See? This is directed and written by Cory Barker, and this stars Michael Johnston, Inde Navarette, Cooper Tomlinson, Megan Lawless, Haley Fitzgerald, and Andy Rickman. After breaking the mysterious one-wish willow to win his crush's heart, a hopeless romantic finds himself getting exactly what he asked for, but he soon discovers that some desires come at a dark and a sinister price. Pretty much, essentially, it's be careful what you wish for type scenario. Going into this, I was actually pretty interested to see how this would turn out. I didn't really know much about it, except all I knew was you had one of the actors from Superman and Lois in here, and I liked this premise. Pretty much a hopeless romantic is trying to win the crush of his dreams, but shit goes terribly wrong, and this premiered at film festivals as such last year, in the case of Toronto Film Festival and Fantastic Fest and Focus Fest and South by Southwest. Going into it, I was hearing some good praise, but also at the same time, I went into this movie pretty damn nervous, because even though with the reviews were being pretty positive, this was also going to be the situation where is this going to be one of the most overhyped movies I've ever seen, or this is going to be one of the worst movies of the year. And recently in this decade, not every horror movie has been hitting for me, but for the great ones, I like, and there's some good ones I like, and also some underrated gems. I know some people think that horror is just become a children's scenario such, to which that's their opinion. But I can confidently say after seeing this movie, I really did dig this movie. Obsession definitely was a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. And now, this is another genuinely good horror movie I could say I loved. Because so far I've seen 13 horror movies. It's been pretty slow in terms of horror for me, because unless I'm missing a couple that are either good or bad. Hello everyone, it is Joshua here. So as you are watching the video, this is kind of my reminder to tell you guys to, if you are the 80.4 to 90 or more, or the 5% returning members who are not subscribed to the channel, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, because it does help this channel grow and it does help the algorithm as well. Also, if you're listening on Spotify to any of these reviews or live streams, please be sure to drop the 5-star rating on Spotify, on Epitastic Live Podcast, and comment your thoughts. With that being said, I click you back and enjoy the video. And the first thing I'm going to say positive about this movie is that this is a hell of a debut for the director. Like, holy shit, this is an impressive debut for Cory Barker. What this director is able to do in terms of, and I'm going to say it, what this director, he is able to do, the fact that he's came from short films and another movie called Milk and Cereal, and he's also going to do the Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, which a part of me is curious of, but also I'm pretty nervous about. But what Cory Barker is able to do in terms of this movie, he's able to tell the story that he wants to tell without it being manufactured or studio interfered in the case of studio. And I'm glad this is under the partnership of Neon and Blumhouse. As much shit as I give Blumhouse being hit and miss, this is one of the good ones. I genuinely thought that this story was creepy when you have this one wish willow and it is put to use here, but also they are able to make it pretty terrifying in the case of this. Like, it definitely makes you feeling unease and makes you feel anxiety filled by the end of it. But it's the direction that really does show that immediately that this director has a great future ahead of him. He has a concept that, even though you could say we've seen it before, we haven't really seen it in the way of it being this disturbing and this highly unhinged and anxiety-filled. And that's the thing I really do like about this premise, is that even though we've seen the be careful what you wish for type, we haven't seen it in this type of brutality, in this type of aggressiveness. And that's the thing I really do like from it. It's pretty much, you take Aladdin with the genie, except we make it's horrifying. And it's pretty fucked up, it's pretty brutal, it's pretty harsh. There are some interesting twists and turns in this movie as well. I have some relatable characters, for the most part, that I can relate to. So I definitely really quite enjoyed the characters here that I was able to relate to the most. How impressive this movie is that it feels like you're watching a Goosebumps episode with a mix of a fantasy adventure that explores the consequences of forcing love through a sinister witch, with one witch Willow, and just being with your main crush. Because this is one thing that we all will really do wish we could want, to be with the girl of our dreams, but sometimes it doesn't really work that way, even if you're a hopeless romantic. For those who has been in a relationship, especially toxic as such, it definitely does go into that route, and I really do like where it goes into it. That's actually something I was really fascinated with, because whether you've been in a relationship or not, I think you can overall relate to a lot of what's going on here in this movie. And you're seeing how far someone's obsession with wanting the girl of their dreams does get. That's what I liked about the film. That's what I felt like the movie does get right in terms of it. So it just goes pretty insane. This movie just says, we're not apologizing for it. We're just going to be exactly what you're coming here for. I will say the acting in this movie is really damn good. I really was pretty impressed with our two lead performances. Michael Johnston, he is fantastic in the movie, and he is relatable for the most part. Like I said, he is a bit of a hopeless romantic. I'm not that hopeless because, one, I've never been in a relationship with a girl yet. Two, I'm just kind of waiting on the right person because I am autistic and such. All that plays into account. But I do feel sympathy for him, and he is terrified in the bad situation that he's in, even though we'll get into it in the negatives. He clearly did wish for it. But I will say, the performance-wise, I think he did a really solid job in terms of standing out here. He's scared, he's terrified, and the wish that changes both him, but also the secondary lead in here. I do feel sympathy for him, but I also couldn't help but feel like you wished for this, so you kind of laid your own bed.
And you know this, man.
No, but you wouldn't listen. Why, you stupid fuck. Look at you now.
You have done that yourself.
Also, Inde Navarette, which, holy hell. First off, I do think she is lovely, but that's besides the point. I liked her ever since Superman and Lois. I really was impressed by her in that. But here, she is great as the female lead character. She is terrifying, she's funny, she's unhinged, she's chaotic, she's unpredictable, and I feel sympathy for her as well, especially when the changes kick in, and when the horror elements does kick in, she becomes unhinged like is no one's business, and her emotional snaps and intense presence and her monologues that she has genuinely made me feel terrified of her, to the point where I want to see more of her. I want to see what else she can go for it. in the future, because she's got a great future ahead of her. I really liked her in Superman and Lois as well. The other supporting actors I really did like in this as well. You have some great supporting cast members in this that I think really does do a good job here. So Cooper Tomlinson was great, Megan Lawless, Andy Richter, Haley Fitzgerald. Everyone did a good job here, but it's really Michael Johnston and Inde Navarette who has to carry this movie on their shoulders. And it probably won't happen, but it would be nice to see if Inde Navarette will get an Academy Award for her work in here. I know the Academy loves to just shut out horror and such, but lately in the few years between The Substance and recent movies like Frankenstein and Sinners and such, it feels like genre films are starting to get a lot more appreciation in the Oscars community. It would be nice if we get some superhero stuff and fantasy stuff in there besides Return of the King, but that's up to interpretation. I was also really impressed with the technical aspects. The cinematography in this movie there are shots in this movie where it gets really damn good in terms of cinematography and lighting, the usage of colors, the usage of frames, especially when you're focused in this unhinged situation. And I definitely really do like the way it was handled in terms of that situation. They handled this unhinged scenario is actually really damn good. And I actually really do give credit for the way they choose to unhinge itself throughout the entirety of the film. So I really very much loved the cinematography aspect into it. The score in this movie, genuinely unnerving. Genuinely frightening, and to the point where I'm just sitting here like, I'm feeling on edge of listening to this, and I'm feeling on edge, really terrified watching this. So the Rock Burwell's score does help make it his own. And also, Kerry Barker does the editing work here too, so it is paced very well for the most part. So I genuinely am happy to see that a lot of this movie is actually doing a good job. It's actually making this money. It's actually making a pretty damn good profit. There are moments in this movie where I was just unnerved, I was scared, I was terrified, and I was genuinely freaking out and asking myself, do I really want to put myself in the process of being with a girl, or do I just stay just being single? Because relationships are not going to be for everyone. And the way this movie chooses to end itself on, pretty solid ending. And for as much as I am giving this movie some love, I don't think this is a 5 out of 5 as a lot of people are thinking it is, because there are a few moments where it can be just a little bit repetitive in moments. There are moments where I feel like the film was being just a little bit repetitive in some of the stuff. And that I actually can agree from my perspective. I know some people will feel differently about it, but I feel like we were being a little bit repetitive there. I will give it the benefit of the doubt here when it comes to it, because I do genuinely feel like there are just some decisions made in here, a few, which I sympathize, but also at the same time, in terms of our main decision, you kind of did this to yourself in terms of Bear as a main character. You put this decision on yourself, and you have to make your own bed in it. So, in a way, you kind of fucked yourself over with that situation. In towards some of the editing in the first half, I do wish we had a little bit more time to develop a few things. So those are really just my only sort of issues. Because at the end of the day, Obsession, I found this to be a very interesting horror film that definitely explores the concepts of being careful what you wish for in a horror side, but also taking chances with its story, and definitely will get under your skin thanks to the direction, thanks to the two performances of Michael Johnston and especially Inde Navarette, and at the end of the day, it does have something relatable, but also something I think most people who have not been in a relationship can relate to. Like I said, it's not a perfect movie, as everyone says it is. I have a few issues with it, but overall, I can't sit here and say this is a bad movie, because I definitely really did enjoy a lot of what was offered here. And overall, because of the filmmaking, because of the story, and because of this concept, I was won over, and this is going to be in my top 3 best movies of 2026. I know I need to catch up on best movies and worst of 2026, but sometimes just between either letting people dictate my own thoughts without me watching, or just not being interested in certain things, or just being hesitant on certain things, that can really play a part into me catching up. But I did really enjoy this one, and I'm going to give Obsession on my rating scale, I'm going to give it a better than Vampire Diaries. I'm almost close to giving it better than Vampire Academy or Spider-Verse, but it's just those few issues. But overall, what did you guys think of Obsession in the comment section down below? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are you somewhere right in the middle? All my social media links are in the description box down below. That way, you can get in touch with me there. Also, if you like to send any money to my Cash App or Chime, you can help financially support the channel by messaging me privately. Also, my Amazon wishlist is down there if you'd like to send me anything from there. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get notified with more reviews, more top 10s, videos, live streams, all of that such is coming. Also, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, be sure to give this a 5-star grade and be sure to share this along with the channel to your friends. And as always, stay fantastic, and you guys keep it cool.